What's up YouTube, Dad here from Zephyr Games, bringing you an updated Blue Eyes White Dragon deck profile. Now, to this day, I still think Blue Eyes Chaos Max is an incredibly powerful main deck monster. Double piercing is always going to be powerful, especially if your opponent does not expect it. You can absolutely win the game in one turn by bringing this bad boy out, hitting something in defense, and that is game. Now, obviously, the downside is most people in this update meta, or once it was announced, it was playing Baguska, and that gets past Chaos Max, or playing Kaiju gets past Chaos Max. But now the meta's kind of shifted a little bit more. Less people are playing Baguska, less people are playing Kaijus. They're more opting for Raw Sphere mode to break the bigger boards. Does not mean, and of course, D-Barrier is not being as heavily used as it once was. So it means that Chaos Max has a way into the meta that can still do a lot of damage. Obviously, the downside is, because it relies on so many high level 8 monsters, it can brick quite a bit. But I'm hoping with this build, we still have a way of building a board, putting a bit of damage onto our opponent, and causing them a lot of issues until we get into Chaos Max. Now, there was a comment on one of the YouTube videos asking us to make either a budget Blue Eyes or a Blue Eyes version without Blue Eyes Alternate Dragon. Now, the issue is right now, until Blue Eyes gets a third reprint, and it is kind of speculated that the movie packs are getting another reprint in gold coming later on in the year in about September, that won't be possible. If you want to be taking out your Blue Eyes alternates, I would then say you want to be going for Chaos Max Turbo. So I'd be playing as many cards as you can to search out Chaos Max. I'd play 3 Chaos Max. I'd bump up some of the ritual spells to 3. I'd also play Sonic Bird to help search you out your ritual spells. You can even play the vanilla Dragon Warrior that can help you get into the Ultimate Zolkin that just floods your boards with tokens. That would be my personal opinion if you wanted to do that. This build is relatively budget, apart from, of course, the Blue Eyes Alternate Dragon, which is around £15 each, I believe, and then the extra deck obviously maintains a bit of value. Without further ado, I'm going to take you through this deck profile, show you what we've got, and explain why we've got some of it. So we play double Blue Eyes Chaos Max. 2 is more than enough. 3 can get very, very cloggy. However, if you do play 3, it's a nice, easy choice for your trading target, because you're like, oh, I've got 3, I hit trading, boom, get it, and it makes your Chaos Max a bit more consistent. Triple Blue Eyes White Dragon, no argument on this. It has to be 3. You know, must play that. Triple Alternate. Now, there is a way of playing Alternate around in this deck and go straight into a Link 4 in one turn, and that still allows you to have the ability to special summon a Blue Eyes from hand, and even get into your Chaos Max, and I'll explain that when we get to it. We've got the one at Dragon Spirit of White. I like this card because you can bring it back with Silver's Cry, and being able to banish your opponent's back row is very, very powerful, especially in this meta. I mean, you've got stuff like Dracos, you've also got Sky Strikers. On top of that, you do have Altergeist, so being able to loop this guy is very, very powerful. And what some people forget to mention is, during the battle phase, for example, if you've got this guy on board, you attack one of your opponent's monsters. Let's say that our opponent's got 2 monsters. You attack with this guy, kill one of their monsters, do a bit of damage. You can then use its effect to tag it out for a Blue Eyes, and then this Blue Eyes can then attack that opponent's remaining monster. So you've cleared their board with 2, you've got a Blue Eyes on that, and then you can activate a Silver's Cry if you wanted to, bring this guy back, banish another back row, and attack again for 25. So I actually really, really like this guy. Do not cut him out completely, he's still very, very useful. Triple White Stone of Ancient, and of course the 1 White Stone of Legend. We do play Cards of Consonance in this deck. You don't have to. We only play it at 1, but getting rid of these guys in the draw fodder is very, very important. Not to mention getting these guys to the graveyard as quickly as you can to get your searches off, to maintain your hand advantage, and of course getting your end phase summon and banish to reset a Blue Eyes back to hand. Triple Sage with Eyes of Blue. This is very, very nice to turn your Manjus. Your Manjus really, really suck. They do their job to search. Apart from that, they're just a dead card on the board unless you're going to link away with it. So Sage with Eyes of Blue actually helps that by ditching him from hand and turning Manju into a Blue Eyes. Speaking of which, we play triple Manju. So being able to turn Manju into a Blue Eyes is always going to be very, very helpful to help you win the game. So that's it for the monster lineup. Not a massive monster lineup, but like, each one of their own needs other cards to help them be as strong as a Blue Eyes deck rightfully should be. Now, the spicy little touch to the deck is triple Sky Striker Mecha Hornets. Now, you can actually play Hornet Drone. They're very, very cheap. They're hollow. People should have hundreds of these from the amount they've opened. It's probably like a £1 card. Now, the reason this is so good is, during your turn, if you go first or second, even if you go second, you want to be going for game with this deck. So you activate Hornet Drone. You get yourself a token. You turn the token into a Kagari. Kagari then lets you add this back to hand. You then activate this again, get a second token. You've got 2 monsters on board you haven't normal summoned. Your Kagari gains 100 attack for each spell engraved. So if you've activated stuff like Trading, your Advanced Ritual Arts, like even if it's late game, it's going to have a fairly nice buff. Regardless of that, you reveal a Blue Eyes, you get a Blue Eyes alternate to board. You then get a Stone to board if you want to. Use Blue Eyes alternate's effect, pop one of your opponent's cards, then link 4, go into a Saruja. Saruja lets you draw 4. These could be the final pieces you need for your Blue Eyes Chaos Max play. If not, you've still got the ability to kind of cycle back through. Put back what you don't need. If you get the Blue Eyes Chaos Max play off, happy days. Then on top of that, if you've got a Silver's Cry, or of course if you've got a Return of the Dragonlords, Trading, anything like that, you can still extend your board a little bit further. If you open up the Blue Eyes, you special the Blue Eyes off of Saruja. You then activate your Chaos Form or your Advanced Ritual Art, get a Chaos Max to board. So your board, after one turn, has finished with a Saruja, a Blue Eyes, and a Blue Eyes Chaos Max. That's like the perfect scenario. At the base minimum, you could end up with a Saruja and a Blue Eyes, or a Saruja and a Blue Eyes Chaos Max. And that is pretty much going to be game. We've then got triple Return of the Dragonlords, absolutely busted. Protects your dragons on the field, which is very, very useful. Triple Melody of Awakening Dragon, and triple Trading. On top of that, we've then got 2 Pot of Desires. We play the majority of stuff at 3, as you can see, so it's not always the end of the world playing this card. Double Advanced Ritual Art and double Chaos Form. Obviously, the idea of playing Pot of Desires is to extend your board or extend your hand. Ideally, you don't want to do it if you haven't got at least one of the 2 pieces of Chaos Max, Chaos Form, or Advanced Ritual Art in hand. We've got the 1 Cards of Consonance, the 1 Monster Reborn because, you know, incredibly powerful, and the 1 Silver's Cry. I really, really like this card because it is quick play, and of course you can top it off by bringing back Dragon Spirit of White. So it's entirely up to you on if you want to play this or not. If you don't, of course the other alternative, because we are going second, is to play Evenly Matched, but you kind of want this to be an OTK build. So on top of that, if you want to, you side in your Kaijus, or you can main your Kaijus because they are training targets, and then that allows you to break your opponent's board quickly, go into a Blue Eyes Chaos Max, and then punch in for game. So that is it for the spell lineup. We do not play any traps in the main. Of course, other alternative side-in options that can be very, very useful for this deck are Called by the Grave. Just because this deck can really, really suffer against hand traps, Ash Blossom stopping any of your searches like your Melody or anything like that puts you at a serious neg. So being able to stop that can be invaluable. Now onto the extra deck, we've got Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Again, very, very powerful, but less so now that we can't get Ancient Fairy Dragon because we don't have the ability to go into Crystal Wing as consistently or as easy as we wish, but still very, very useful and powerful. We've then got Michael, the Arch Lightsworn, and Black Rose Moon, both incredibly powerful cards that can be brought off of Dragon, Blue Eyes Spirit, and then of course the Azure Eyes. Then for our XYZs, we've got the 1 Galaxy Eyes Cypher, the 1 Galaxy Eyes Full Armour, and the 1 number 95 Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter, all very, very important. Being able to steal monsters to move into link plays can be very, very useful. And then, of course, you want to be ranking up into this guy, send him free from your grave, send him free from your deck, and you're getting searches and specials during the end phase. Number 38, Hope Harbinger, again, one of the best rank 8s around. And then onto the link monsters, we've got the 1 Link Spider for our Blue Eyes White Dragon if we want to be getting it. If we say like we've only got Blue Eyes on board, this is a very rare scenario by the way guys. Blue Eyes on board, we want to get the Blue Eyes to graveyard, then activate our Return of the Dragonlords to get that into the graveyard. You can play it that right way. Of course this is also another target for the Hornet Drone tokens along with the 2 Kagari, just to make sure that those drones are never useless. Of course, you can go with Reaper targets in this deck a little bit more consistently if you want to, so that's entirely up to you. On top of that, Link Spider makes it easy for you to co-link a Nightmare Phoenix or, of course, a Nightmare Cerberus, which both have protection effects and, of course, popping effects, which can be very, very useful for discarding some cards if you wish. And then on top of that, we've got the Topological Trispania, which can also be a decode. So these kind of come down to personal preferences. The only staple Link monster that I say you must play is the Kagari because of the Hornet Drones. The only staple, the Synchros are pretty much staple there. And then with the XYZs, I'd like to say that these 4 are staple. Maybe you take out this one if you want to take a step less, or of course you take out the Cypher and go for the 107. So that is it for the deck profile. You know, I'm just as much of a fan of Blue Eyes as I am Dark Magician. I've got to love the old school kind of decks and the way they work. Blue Eyes is still very, very powerful in my eyes. Yes, the new support isn't amazing or great, but it's still very, very good for the deck. That it's always going to consistently keep getting support. It's just a shame that Dark Magician doesn't get as power crept as Blue Eyes could possibly be, but that is the way Kaiba works. Anyway, I hope this has helped. I hope this has given ideas around your own Blue Eyes build. Or, of course, if you want to net deck this, test it out, see what works and what doesn't work for you, by all means, please do so. For now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. And as always, guys, happy dueling. Also, YouTube, thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button. And of course, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button in the bottom left-hand corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We've got more deck profiles, duels, pack openings, and many more Yu-Gi-Oh videos coming up for you all year round. So don't forget to stay tuned for all of that. Thanks, and as always, guys, happy dueling.